So many people just live by the standards of society without questioning it. Maybe they don't even know that there is something more from this life that you can get from this life. They are not conscious. They don't have this consciousness. So when they don't have the consciousness, they don't have the need. They don't know that they would want something because they are in this comfort zone of living from one day to another. Everything starts with the decision and admitting that maybe you're not happy, because it's hard to admit.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the podcast Fly with Mel. I use this podcast to talk about all the personal development that we can get by living far from home. I tell some stories, but most of the time I invite people that I meet along the way to share their own. This podcast is an open door to the world because I truly believe that everyone you meet has something to teach you. So I invite you to take a seat and enjoy the flight. Hi everyone, today I'm with my friend Naty. Hi Naty.
Hello everyone.
And today we are going to talk about self-love, self-awareness, and a lot of things about the importance of knowing yourself. So thank you Naty for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
I'm very excited about this topic. To give you a bit of context, I met Naty maybe a year ago now. And we are now developing ourselves with coaching and life coaching. And Naty taught me a lot about the topic itself. And she is now a life coach herself. She's helping a lot of different people. She's going to talk about that. But most of all, it's people who are trying to find their life purpose, right?
Yes, and fulfillment, yes.
Fulfillment and build a better and nicer life with peace. So Naty, just to start, I always start my podcast with an icebreaker, which means that I ask something to my guests so that the audience can just visualize a bit better who you are. So can you give us 3 things, 3 words or 3 adjectives that define who you are?
Yes, so I am always happy, I'm always positive, and I'm very playful as well. I love to explore life, so I think I have very high energy and I love life in general.
I love that, and I can feel it. I feel your energy from here, so there is no doubt about that at all. Naty, where are you from, first of all, and how long have you been here in Australia?
Yes, so I am from Slovakia. It is a very small country in Europe, so not everyone knows that. And I came almost 3 years ago. It was my exploration of myself, and it worked out really well, so I'm excited.
Tell me more about that. What do you mean by exploration of yourself?
Yes, so I used to live in Prague. I worked in a corporate environment and I found myself really unhappy and burnt out. I was only 25 years old, so I felt that I'm not ready to settle down yet. So I'm like, well, I think it will be fine actually if I travel one more time. And I really felt that Australia would be my last destination because I had traveled multiple times before that. Because I really felt that there is something waiting for me. I was quite unhappy and I didn't know why. I didn't know what to do next. And I felt that Australia would give me answers. I didn't know how, but I just felt that this country would give me some answers. Okay. And it happened.
That's crazy. So how did you... Wow, I have goosebumps. It's only 2 minutes in the podcast. How did you feel that it was Australia? It's just when you arrived, or
I don't know why it was Australia, but before I traveled to the US, I traveled to Spain. I did my Erasmus, and don't get me wrong, I love Spain. I think that is my country where I will retire.
You have time.
I love the culture and I love everything about Spain, but the economic situation isn't great there, so. I think it actually came from my father. He always loved Australia. He would always tell me, if I was younger, I would just go to Australia. It always fascinated him. And I was like, it is interesting because it's so far away and it's so different. And I'm like, I already had a couple friends in here as well. And I saw their Insta stories and they just had their best life, in here. And I was just sitting there in rainy Prague and I was so desperate. And I'm like, what do I have to lose? Like, I can go and if nothing works out, then I'll come home. I can always have the corporate job. I can always have that. So yeah, I think Australia, it was very spontaneous decision, but it worked out really well.
Yeah.
So far, it's been great.
Yes, I'm sure. It's been, what, 3 years, you said?
It's been almost 3 years.
Okay.
So we came 1 month before lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
and I was lucky enough to find a good job. So I was working from home throughout the whole lockdown period. And yeah, everything just worked out. If you just open yourself to the possibilities and just stop caring about things that much and worrying and having those fears, everything will work out. So
And you were saying that it's the journey of rediscovering yourself.
Exactly.
Or discovering yourself. Can you tell me a bit more about that? Like, what happened in 3 years that make you discovering yourself more?
So when I was in Prague, when I was back in Europe, I was quite depressed, and I have always been a positive person. I never suffered with depression, but there was a period of time where I was really depressed. I was in a relationship that I thought that would make me happy, but I found out that I didn't know myself, and I was not connected to my true self. I was actually just living the life defined by other people, and I found myself really unhappy because I realized that I'm only pleasing others. I'm in this relationship because I'm worried that I would hurt him if I broke up with him. So I was just living life so other people would be happy, and I'm like, but this is wrong. This is the wrong way of living. Why I only have one life? Why am I living this way? So we came to Australia together, but after some time I really decided that I couldn't do it. I found the courage to break up with him. And don't get me wrong, that he was the best person ever, but I just felt like I couldn't do it anymore to him or to me, to myself. So once I found the courage and did it, oh my God, I completely transformed. I found out who I was. I actually started living by my own needs. Of course, there is still some work to do because I love people and I love to help people. So I sometimes have to fight to say no, and we work together on that. So, but I just feel I'm so connected to myself now, and I can't express how happy I am. Seriously, like, I'm so happy.
That's amazing, Naty. I'm so happy for you and so happy to hear. I have a big smile like while listening to your story because I can even feel it through your energy. It takes courage to break up. It takes courage to own your life and to take your own responsibilities, and not everyone can do that because sometimes you also have family involved or stuff involved that it's not always easy to take this decision. So what gave you the courage to say, okay, that's it now, that's it, I'm done and I need to find myself?
Yes, so I come from a family that we are very happy family. My parents always loved other people. There was always full house in my house. When we had some celebration, we were dancing, everyone has fun. So I'm from a very happy family that, of course, they always work hard, but they love to enjoy their life. And I love to enjoy my life as well. And when I found myself living the way I lived, I asked myself, is this the way I'm going to spend my whole life? What's the point of living if I don't get my full picture, and if I don't unleash my full potential, if I don't explore? There is so much out there, and it's so exciting. Why do I have to live this way? Why do I have this fear? What happens what's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing. Like, what is the worst thing? I always have my family that will help me out. I always have my friends. I have people around. I have two hands that I can work with. I will always make money. And I have always been able to make money and just live on my own and support myself. And I never was afraid of work. Like, when I came to Australia, I was cleaning houses of rich people. And I do have uni. I remember my brother, when it was my birthday, I was on my way to work to clean the house, and my brother was like, happy birthday, do you know someone with uni that cleans houses? I would need. So like, he made fun of me.
Yeah.
But it all shapes you. Like, these experiences make you who you are. And I stopped feeling fear. I stopped being driven by fear, because what is the worst thing that can happen? What is the worst thing? I know that I have the ability to get out of everything that happens to me.
Wow.
And so there is no reason to be scared of anything.
This is powerful.
Yeah.
I love that. It's just being able to say, I'm not afraid of anything. It's just, I can survive everything. Whatever happens. So
exactly. And I think my mom always gave me this thinking. She's a very strong woman, and every time I was in crisis or I was upset, she always was like, don't worry, this is just a period of time. It will pass and we'll solve everything. My mom is a very solution focused person. So whenever something goes wrong, she focuses on the solution. And I think this is the greatest gift she could give me, is to focus on the solution. Because then she has the power. She knows that she can resolve anything that comes to her life. So that's how I decided to live my life, not driven by fear, but driven by excitement. And I'm genuinely excited to wake up every morning. Like, I go to bed, I'm like, oh my God, I wish it was morning already. I just want to, go to the gym. I want to be productive. So amazing, yeah.
That's so good. And I feel very aligned with you, with what you're saying. And I think sometimes our environment is very, very important and shapes us in a different way in life, and can guide us also and give us all the tools we need. You were saying your mom was showing you the way, and for me it's a bit the same. Like my family, my parents, we are coming from a Lebanese family who escaped the war, and from a very young age I was raised in a family who was resilient and who was like, if anything happened to you, you fall down but you get up. You Absolutely. Get up and you don't even ask questions, you do it. Whatever happens. And if you have nothing in your pocket, go and find something else in the other pocket. That's how I was raised.
Yes.
So I think the family and environment can help a lot. But I would say also a little disclaimer, and you tell me if what you think about it, but I think at any age you can build resilience if you choose to. At any age you can decide to change your environment, yes. Leave your country, or decide to live a totally different life if you're not fulfilled and happy with your own life. It's just, as you said before, it takes courage to change, and especially if you didn't have this environment, for example, when you were young.
Yes.
Do you think it's easy for people to change?
It depends. So for me, I think the most important factor is being conscious. So there are so many people that don't live life consciously. They just, they are defined by the society. Okay, now let's say 27 years old, I need to get a boyfriend, I need to get married, I need to have kids, I need to find a mortgage, I need to build a house, so many people just live by the standards of society without questioning it, without actually, maybe they don't even know that there is something more from this life that you can get from this life. They are not conscious. They don't have this consciousness. So when they don't have the consciousness, they don't have the need. They don't know that they would want something, because they are in this comfort zone of living from one day to another, because at the end of the day, their parents will be proud that they got married and they build a house and they have 2 kids. It doesn't matter if they're not happy. It doesn't matter that they have their relationship, their love relationship has no fire. It doesn't matter that your daughter isn't happy in her life, and that she spends it just because, she spends it living according to your needs and her husband's needs, and then she has kids and her whole life revolves around her kids, around her family. For example, my mom. She would never find time for herself. Okay. We were the center of her attention, and I love her for that. She gave us all the love. But now I'm like, as I got older, I'm trying to convince her, Mom, go get your facial, go for a massage, take care of yourself. And she just has this need to nurture and to take care. And I know it makes her happy, but she's neglecting herself. So I think, of course, we can change, but you need to have this consciousness. And I used to beat myself up for being so self-aware. I'm like, why do I want all these things? Why can't I just live simple life? Why do I want this? Like, it's so difficult because then I just keep chasing and chasing. And I used to beat myself up for it. I was not happy that I have, like, I can see things differently than, for example, my friends back in Slovakia. They already have 2 kids. And I mean, it's not a bad thing. As long as they are happy, as long as you are happy, you do whatever you want. There are people that really want a family, which is amazing. It is amazing if you want a family, if you have healthy relationships and you build some different life and you create beautiful family. I think that's the best you can do. But I always felt I was different. I always felt, oh my God, like, I want to have all this money and I want to help all these people and I want to have this and I want to travel the world and I want to meet people. I'm so excited for this life. And I used to beat myself up for it because it's hard. It's not easy to make it happen.
It is. Yeah.
So I think the consciousness about how do you become conscious again. It's the people you meet. It's the things you watch. It's the things you expose yourself to. You know,
your environment.
It
comes back to the
environment. Your environment is planting seeds. Every person you meet is planting one seed. So they try to teach you.
Yeah, and you need to be willing to see also
exactly
the things
you need
that
to
are
be
happening.
open to that. You need to be open to that. But it starts with the decision. Everything starts with the decision and admitting that maybe you're not happy because it's hard to admit.
It is extremely hard, and
yeah.
all the things that you just said really, really resonates with everything resonates with me and with the people I used to meet and I still meet. I'm not going to say again what you just said, but this idea of the society that is already, there is a pathway. You learn this pathway about you grow up, you go to school, you meet someone, you get married, you build the house, you get the house, you have the dog, and then happily married, like kids are coming, and that's it. This is the success. Yeah. And I think it's just the society now is showing us a different definition of success, and success is coming more about building and creating a happy life.
Exactly.
And I think this is something that our parents didn't have because they didn't have all the things that we have now, and they didn't have all the knowledge, and also all the world is open today. We are like together here in Australia. They didn't have the luck and the opportunity to do the same thing, to be open to another world, another culture, and maybe to choose to live somewhere else. Yes. We have this opportunity today, and I think that's why these kind of topics such as self-awareness, self-love, they're all coming now up to the, at the top of the table, and it's not a trend, and I really want to insist on that. It's not a trend. It's just that now we have the opportunity and the ability to choose something that the other generation before us weren't able to, or not as much as us now. And because we have this opportunity, being able to be aware and to be willing to change, and to be able to say, you know what, I have the cards in my hands. I'm not happy today, maybe I should do something to change, and maybe I should buy this plane ticket and go somewhere else, and maybe I should go and take this job that I'm very, very scared of. I just want to remind to say that, because people are really talking about, oh my God, the self-love thing, oh my God, self-development, oh my God, this is too much. But you have these people, and on the other side you have all the people who do the work and actually become a better version of themselves, and actually become better, and actually shine out there, and actually want to help more and more and more and more people. And that's exactly the work that you were doing by coming here. And for that, I really want to say bravo, as we say in French, well done, because it's not everyone who will do this, take the leap of faith. For anyone who is listening now and who is feeling a bit lost, or maybe not super, super happy, or who is defining success with something else, but is not very, very sure about, the definition of success for him or for her, I really want to say, you have the power to change, and you can change tomorrow. And it doesn't always mean and involve a plane ticket and a lot of money. Sometimes it's just about, change your group of friends, change the thing that you're watching on your social networks, change the TV program you're watching. Maybe stop TV and go have a walk in nature every morning, and see how your brain is going to change, and how your thoughts are going to change, and etc., etc.
Absolutely. With that, self-talk as well is, so the first step you can do, or the first thing that you can change about your situation is the way you talk to yourself. because your words, they define they create your thoughts, and the thoughts create your actions, and your actions create the result.
Okay.
So if the words you're putting into your head or into your brain are negative, self-destructive, what kind of life do you expect to have? And so many people aren't conscious of self-talk. They don't even know if they can talk to themselves. There's so many people that don't talk to themselves.
Oh, they do, but they don't realize it.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, you have to do something, and in your mind you're like, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Or I'm not enough.
Yeah.
I don't have the knowledge.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is not for me. I'm not the type of person. This is self-talk, and people don't understand that this is actually self-talk, and this is actually negative one. Yeah,
Absolutely.
The impact of the words on the mind is just insane.
Yes.
So you were talking about yourself and your journey, and the fact that you were more a people pleaser at the very beginning.
Yes.
I want to come back to that. Can you define a bit more what is a people pleaser?
So what is a people pleaser? It is a person that will do absolutely anything not to get into conflict with other people, and they will neglect their own needs. They will neglect themselves just to make other people happy.
Mm-hmm.
And those people, they seek validation of others a lot, because their worthiness is really defined by what other people say about them. So if that person says I'm beautiful, then okay, I'm beautiful. But if another person says I'm ugly, well, then I think I'm ugly. So your life is defined by, or is in the hands of other people, of the society. You don't live the life according to who you are, but you just go from one place to another, and you're so confused, and then you wake up 30 years later, and for example, God forbid, you are sick, and you have no idea why. Well, because you've been neglecting yourself, and you are living the life of other people. And every person has their own problems and their own I would say big, I don't know if stress. Every person has some level of stress, some level of problems, or something that they deal with. And no one knows what they are doing on this earth. We don't know what's going on. No one knows. Even the, I don't know, most educated and most successful and rich person in the world, we are all trying our best. We don't know. We don't even know how we were created. So why do you want to put your life into the hands of other people? Everyone sees this world with different eyes. So when I say I used to be a people pleaser, this is the way I lived. I was just like, okay, I'm making other people happy. Now it's good. I'm worthy. I don't have to, I'm not going to get into conflict. I don't have to argue with anyone. I'm going to please everyone. And why don't you want to get into conflict? Because you don't trust yourself to stand up for yourself. You are doubting every single action and every single decision that you make.
I love that. The power of not being, the confrontation. I know that
Exactly.
a lot of us, we are very, very afraid of confrontation, and
Absolutely.
we don't like conflict, and we don't like, no, I don't want to have conflict, so I'm just going to say yes. So it's about also not being able to say no, or not being able to say the real thing and the truth. And usually when people tell me that, and I was like you before, I know that, it's very hard. I think especially in our society, we want to fit in, we want to be part of communities, we want to be part of the crew, so sometimes you're like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna say yes, I'm gonna go to that party, even if I don't want, just because, so that they're still my friends. But then exactly as you're saying, it's like, can't you stand for yourself? And do you really think that all the people you have today around you are going to stay forever? No, of course not. Life is about cycles, season, as you usually say, and being able to say no, but also just to I think there is a difference about saying just no and being like a bit harsh and rude with people.
Exactly.
and being able to learn about communication and how do you express yourself in a way where anything that you will say will come from a place of love, and the person in front of you will be able to understand why you're saying no, in fact, that it's because it's for yourself, and to be honest and clear with yourself, and it's not because you don't like that person or
Absolutely. So I think anything you do with a good intent will go well. So I believe, and even at my work, like when I manage people, I always explain to them, it's fine that when you make a mistake, as long as you tried your best, because your intent was good, and you've actually tried whatever you could. So why would we punish you? Why would you be punished if your initial intent was amazing? You wanted to actually do a good job. Did it work out? Maybe it didn't, but you can learn from this. It gave you an opportunity for next growth. So next time when you do something more complicated, it will be very easy for you. So it's not about making a mistake. It's not about not failing. It's about learning. The failure, it doesn't exist really. Because when you look at it from a different perspective, and I know you're laughing because that is something it was my problem. Like
nothing is a problem, but yeah,
challenge. Let's call it challenge. I don't like to talk about
yes.
problems, but challenge. I was so scared to fail all the time because I thought that it would make me look weak. But now I see failure as an amazing opportunity for me to grow. Because in failure, there are so many lessons that you can learn. You just need to see them. And once you stop being scared of failing, then you've got everything that you need. You've got all the tools. No one is perfect. Everyone fails.
Yes, everyone fails.
And that's life.
It is, completely.
So...
And maybe sometimes people are a bit afraid to say no or to say what they want to stand for because they're afraid of rejection.
Yes.
Rejection. And it's a big topic. And I know how much you have you taught me so much about rejection. And rejection isn't bad, right?
Absolutely. No. So, it is difficult when you hear the word rejection. It is difficult to be rejected because us as human beings, we want to be part of something. We want to be part of some community. We want to be part of society. We want to fit in. We are wired that way. You can't change that. So, but what we have to realize is that rejection shows you a different path. So when you get rejected, it's actually the life telling you, oh, okay, you probably need to shift a bit in here. You probably need to push harder to find a different way because this is not ideal for you. This will not bring you good results in long term. So I really trust the process, and I learned to, maybe it's a bit spiritual and corny, but I learned to trust the life because I know that everything always works out for me if I have a good thinking and if I just trust the life. What can go wrong? Yeah. I'm not gonna die. I will one day, but I want to live my life to the fullest.
Of course.
So when I used to get rejected, I would be like, okay, I'm not good enough. I can't prove myself now. I can't trust myself, and then I'm not worthy enough, and so it started this negative talk. But then when I shifted, and every time I was rejected, I'm like, okay, this didn't work out. Let's look at some different options. I always got a better outcome, always. So it's just like when I look at my past, I do have examples and I do have facts of that when you get rejected, that it's a great opportunity for something better and more exciting. And it works the same way when you say no to other people. When you reject other people, it's not that you reject them out of hate. It's because you give them the opportunity to make something better out of themselves.
Of course.
And so you force them to maybe shift their focus, to work somewhere else, to change what they're doing, to adjust, to adapt. So yeah, I think actually rejection is an amazing thing, and everything that comes with it is positive.
I love it, and I feel like when we hear these words, we suddenly can say, okay, you know what, if I'm rejected tomorrow in a relationship or in a friendship or at work from an interview or anything, if you start to shift your perception about this rejection exactly with the tools and words that you just used, you can only feel good. You can only feel okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get rejected. I don't know, you want to date someone and you get rejected. The person says no. And you're like, oh my God, you're going to be depressed and ashamed and whatever. And all these kind of feeling that can come up. And maybe you're going to sit in these feelings for, I don't know, a month. While if you suddenly say, okay, you know what, maybe that person did that intentionally for me, and maybe it's because I have someone better coming to me, or I need to work on myself a bit more, or I need more time, I'm not ready, blah blah blah. And this is also linked to what you just said before about this is too corny or spiritual or whatever, when you were talking about you believe in life. It's not. It's just about the perception you want to have about life. It's like if you want to decide that whatever happens, happens, and you just shift each time everything, and to be able to be in control of your reaction, and to it's not always easy to be positive, okay? If something very hard happen and you know, and unpredicted situations happen, and it can happen, but it's more about, do you really want to sit with your hard and dark feelings, or do you want to try to see a different way of approach the situation, and what can you do really to, you know, come back up and shift and change and maybe adjust your direction and see what life brings you again.
And don't get me wrong, it is important to sit in those feelings. It is crucial to admit, I'm in deep shit. Okay, I'm going to own it now. I'm going to own it for a day or two, a week. But there is a way to get out of it. So after I'm done with my crying, after I'm done with my mourning and whatever, how do I get out of it? What can I learn, and what is the solution?
Exactly.
What is the solution? Because, you know, it's not about being positive and smiley all the time. Of course not. It's life. You have to go through difficult moments because they shape you. So it's important to feel this. It's important to be sad, to be angry. And don't try to push those feelings away, because they're very essential for you. You grow when you feel them. But it's about picking yourself up and actually realizing what can you do to, make your life better again.
Exactly. It's like sit in your feelings, but come back up.
Exactly.
Don't sit forever. Don't victimize yourself. Don't find excuses. This is something that we tend... Sit in your feelings. If you want to cry, cry. Yes, do cry, but don't cry for 6 months.
Exactly.
You don't deserve that. Your life is made for the best. I mean, you deserve to have a great life. You deserve to be happy, and you deserve to be positive again. So yes, of course, don't be like... nobody can be like shiny, smiley, and unicorn
not.
and whatever.
Of course not.
But it's more about... It's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay for a long time. When you have a friend who is never going well, I mean... there is, at some point you just want to tell that friend, like, come on, like, you can only get better. Try to shift your perception and and it can be hard sometimes to give this type of advice to friends.
But you have to accept it. Not everyone is ready for this, and many people find comfort in other people feeling sorry for them. Many people want other people to feel sorry for them because it gives them comfort. It gives them attention. It's something they were missing in life. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you don't help yourself, how do you expect other people to help you? If you don't truly help yourself, who else can help you?
It's true.
You can of course use other people when you're helping yourself, but no one can do it for you. It's like no one can put food into your stomach. You can do that only.
I like this image I'm trying to think about and imagine it. Yes, it's
like
true.
They can put food in your mouth, but you are the one that has to eat it. Like, you know, people can give you tools, but you have to work with those tools.
Of course, exactly. You can read all the books. If you don't take actions from what you've just read, doesn't make any sense. There is nothing. Yeah.
So, you have to be determined to help yourself always.
And this comes also with self-love. So accepting yourself to then accept others. I would love to talk about that a bit more. How do you start to love yourself? Because this is it's what I was mentioning just before. It's like the kind of big trend. You see that on social media. Self-love, #self-love, love yourself, blah, blah, blah. But it's deeper than that, right?
Yes, so it all starts with actually determining what self-love means to you. For everyone else is different. You do have to know the meaning of self-love. What it means for me is always standing for myself, accepting myself fully. It's always the feeling of trusting myself, that I have the ability to do whatever I want. to look in the mirror and say, you are beautiful, you're powerful, you can do it all, you can own it all. This is self-love for me. And I used to, you know me, I've been on, not anymore, but I used to be on diets my whole life because I didn't accept myself. I hated my body, and even though I worked out, I was punishing myself. I went to the gym because I wanted to punish myself because I thought I had to. And when I shifted my thinking and changed my perspective and started going to the gym because it was nurturing me, because it was giving me energy, it was I could actually not think when I was in the gym. I could, you know, it gave me happiness. I could meet people there. My whole perception of myself and the self-love changed. Because if you don't have self-love, it means that you're lacking confidence in yourself. You don't have the self-esteem. You don't trust in your actions. You don't even know who you are. How can you? And then you expect other people to love you. Then you expect to find a partner that will give you love. But how can you expect someone to give you love if you don't accept it? Because if you tell me that I am beautiful and I don't believe it, then how does it help me? Right? So I think self-love, that is the first step that you actually need to do. If you want to change anything in your life, you have to accept yourself. But firstly, you need to know what it means to you. What is self-love? Is it putting makeup on? What is it? Because for me, that's the part of it. Mm-hmm. For me, that's the part of taking care of my physical appearance. I love it. I love to go to get my hair done. I love to go and get my nails done. That's part of it. That's part of my self-love. But it consists of many things. Mm-hmm. It's not only one thing. It's the overall picture.
And you were talking about self-love linked to knowing who you are. I feel like it's a huge topic.
Yes.
And we touched base on it with all the things that we just shared now. But first of all, how do you start to say, oh, who am I? Hang on.
Who am I?
Who am I? You know, like, how do you even know that you don't know who you are? That's the first thing. And I can share a little story here just to put the context on. When I first arrived to Australia, I was one of the person who was never it was never in my mind to travel alone by myself. And I arrived here with friends, and then I started to do my whole, my own life and my own little stuff. And suddenly I wanted to do the East Coast and travel, and nobody wanted to do it with me. So at some point I managed to have a friend of mine with me for 10 days, and then I had like 3 weeks alone on the East Coast, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna do it. And I did it. And I started to realize every day, oh my God, I didn't know that I realized that I like to wake up early. Oh, I didn't realize that, because when you're surrounded by people, sometimes you adapt to others. Yeah. So even if you're awake, you stay in bed because, nobody is awake. I'm going to stay, I'm going to wait. And then I started to realize all the food that I really enjoy. Like, oh my God, I don't need to go to that type of restaurant. In fact, I like this type of restaurant and this type of snack and this type of... And every day for me, it was like a new discovery about myself. And I realized that at the end of my trip, in fact, I was like, oh my God, I loved all of this, all the things that I did alone and I choose to do. And then when I came back to Sydney and I was back with all my crew and all the friends around me, suddenly I was like, oh, but no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that thing that you want to do. In fact, I know that there is something better that makes me really feel happy. Yes. And that's where I was like, fuck. I discovered like who I was, and for many years I was exactly like you. I was the kind of people pleaser. I was adapting to everyone else. I was always the little mom of the crew, always helping everyone, sharing everything for everyone, blah blah blah. And I was just forgetting myself. Yes. I didn't know that I was here. And I had to be suddenly alone, naked in Australia, naked with myself and with my own luggage and my own thing and my own thought, to finally realize, hang on, there is a human in here. There is a human in here who wants to shine.
Absolutely.
And who deserves to shine.
Yes.
So it's come back to self-love, but also being able to say, oh gosh, I didn't know who I was for more than 25 years. Hang on, life is just in front of me right now. Yes. So I'm just wondering how people can suddenly say, oh, I don't know who I am. Is it because you don't have any passion? Is it because you don't know what you like, don't like, you don't really,
So as you said, as you really nicely described in your story, it all starts with small things. What food do I like? What drink do I like? Do I like to go for a run or do I like to swim? What color do I like? Do I like to be with people or do I like to be by myself? So it starts with noticing. And once you start noticing all those small details, then you'll have the full picture of who you are. You will be, okay, when someone comes to you, come to a party with me, and you will be like, no, I don't like parties. I don't want to go there. Because you know who you are. So when someone asks you who you are, it's not one word. Again, it's complex. It's you know, you can like that, you don't like that, you like those kind of people, you don't like this, and it's fine. Everyone is different. But you need to know exactly what you like and what you want to do in every situation. That is knowing who you are. Exactly knowing and deciding for yourself at every moment. Not being driven by the group of friends. So when someone asks you, okay, let's do this, you stop and you actually think, is this right for me? Do I want that or am I just going with the group? So I think it's not really difficult to figure out who you are. It's only noticing what you actually like and what you want. What you want. So many people do not know what they want. So when I coach someone and they come to me, they start complaining about something and I ask them, okay, but what do you want? And they're like, well, I don't want to be this and I don't want to be that. And I always stop them. I'm like, okay, but what do you want? You haven't told me what you wanted. So how do you expect your life to change if you keep focusing on the things you don't want? You give the energy to the things you don't want. So it's really figuring out and knowing what you want. That is how you find out who you are.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. That's beautiful, Naty. And you were talking about coaching because you coach people. Do you find it easy to shift the perception of someone who really don't know what they want and suddenly find something that they want?
I think I've been gifted with some, and I'm grateful for it. But for me, it's very easy. So when someone talks to me, I can define their limiting beliefs. I can define their issues. I can define the way they look at life. So based on that, I always I challenge them. I challenge them so they can't answer anymore. I challenge them with questions so they actually give the answer to themselves and they tell me why their limiting beliefs were ridiculous. And for example, yesterday I was in a coaching session and my client was like, I can't believe I was thinking this way. I can't believe this was my perception. This is completely ridiculous. I use facts and I make them to say those facts. So they actually start believing that this is not true, what they believed the whole life. So it's about making people realize that the way you look at life isn't sometimes working for you. Nothing is good or bad. It's always about, is this serving you or it's not serving you? Because what serves me doesn't need to serve you, right?
Of course.
So that's why coaching is encouraging with questions. I don't give advices. Everyone has a different life.
True.
I just make people to realize that sometimes it's good to change.
Yeah. What made you realize that you really wanted to do that as a really big passion, hobby, whatever, to help people, to make this as a big part of your life?
I've always been a person that was helping other people. I think I've always been a good communicator. I love people. I love to talk. That's my passion. One day I want to do public speaking. I already mentioned that.
You will.
So I was always there to support my friends. And even when I met someone, I really find it easy to connect with people. And so I discovered myself in Australia. I helped my friend when she was going through a breakup. And every time she was actually encouraging me. So I will be forever grateful to her. She was like, Naty, you really have to do this. You're wasting your potential. I feel amazing every time I talk to you. And so that made me think, okay, I really need to do something about this. Because I knew it was in me. I felt it deeply. I was fascinated with all these motivational talks and TED talks and all the self-development, but I was always scared to put myself out there. I was so scared that people will judge me, that I'm young, I don't have any experience. What should I say to people? I haven't lived my life long enough to help others. So I had all these limiting beliefs about myself, but then I was like, you know what? So people will judge me. So what will happen? Exactly. At least I'm trying, and at least I'm doing what fulfills me. And it's been going amazing. I really had no negative feedback from anyone, and I don't even ask. Like naturally, when people meet me that I haven't seen for a while, they will be like, Naty, I love your videos. I love the work that you are doing. It really gives me so much energy, and you're really good at it. And so, yeah. No one was making fun of me as I thought initially. Everyone is just accepting it, and yeah, I just decided to just fully open myself to it and embrace and see what it brings me.
And you could realize how much some assumptions were stopping you from
absolutely
becoming the woman you are today. Yeah. And you are now you're able to help so many beautiful souls out there, and I wish you the best for that. And I really think that people empowering each other and bringing power together to just help others and uplift each other and upskill each other is just the most beautiful thing we can do in this life, because as you mentioned before, we don't know why we're here for, but what we truly know is like each time you do an act of service or you help someone, you feel great. Yes. And if we were all having this feeling at the same time around the planet Earth, and I know this is me being a bit like, in my la la land, but in fact it's true. If we were all having this kind of great feeling because we were able to help others, and we don't have this kind of competition, comparison, blah, blah, blah against others, but in fact just against us versus the past version of us, this will be just a much more beautiful place to live in.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? That would be amazing. So it just feels great when I can see someone realize how powerful they are.
Definitely.
Because we all are.
I'm sure we all are. Everyone is. We all have a power.
Absolutely.
So how can people find you if they want to be coached by the magical Naty?
I do have my own website, natythecoach.com. I have my Instagram, Naty the Coach. I have YouTube, Naty the Coach.
She's everywhere. I'll put everything
in TikTok.
She's doing everything.
You can find me everywhere. So once you follow me, you'll see me all the time and every day. Yes, I do lots of content, and that was my limiting belief as well. I thought I hated to do social media, but I found my routine around it.
And finally you ended up on all the social media
now
platforms.
I'm everywhere. You see where the life takes you.
I love it. Do you have one last advice to give to people who are, let's say, someone who is trying to become a better version of themselves and trying to become more gentle with themselves, which means maybe becoming your own best friend, something like that? What is the first step or first action someone can take? Self-talk.
Notice the words that are coming into your brain. Notice the way you talk to yourself. Would you talk this way to your best friend? How would you speak to your best friend? Would you treat your best friend the same way you would treat yourself?
Love that. Thank you so much, Naty. I enjoyed so much the conversation. I'm trying to not have too many questions because I know we can go very, very far with that. Maybe we'll do a second episode if everyone wants another one. But thank you so much for your beautiful energy, Naty. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. And I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. It was beautiful, and the time went by really fast.
True, completely
Thank you so
true.
much. It was great. I hope everyone will enjoy it.
I'm sure they will. I'll put everything about Naty in the description. Thank you, Naty.
Thank you.